Hello and welcome to Phone Age News. Thank you so much for joining me. There's been so much happening since my last video. I'm trying to slow down a bit because number 23 will be my last video. I'm trying to time them now until the collapse of civilization. So anyway, we've had loads and loads of big earthquakes. These are the ones fairly sizable just in the last week. 122 sixes and sevens, and floods everywhere, which other people are reporting on. It's just overwhelming, and heat waves, and it's just all going bad to us. So everybody's wondering what's going on in California. So I've had a good look at it personally, and I went on to Null School, and I've noticed the carbon monoxide in California. And this is, I'll just run through the 14th at 3-hourly intervals, and you can see we've got quite a lot of carbon monoxide. And this isn't vehicle pollution, because I've looked back and it doesn't get to these high levels. So this is abnormal, and these gaseous emissions, which must be coming from the ground, sometimes prelude earthquakes. And I've used the same technique on this as I used to pinpoint the blowhole in Siberia, and the point it comes to is here. This is the centre of where the high carbon monoxide is, just to the east of central Los Angeles. Zoom in a bit further. See the area? Must be place names. Zoom out a bit. Near Chino, Diamond Bar, and Walnuts. Well, the walnuts could be about to crack, because this is bang on the San Andreas. Zoom back out. See it. And since coming to this determination earlier on today and coming to do this video, we've actually had some smaller earthquakes in that area, which is sort of like backing up my prediction. We're looking, where are we? Here's LA, so it's round about here. So if I switch on the 1 day all magnitudes, looking here, this is my, see, all round. These have all struck today since since they came to me determination. So that's where I think it's going to give. I hope I'm wrong. But if I'm right, this is going to be a whopper. Did I just say San Andreas? Sorry, I meant Elsinore. A bit like one of them other videos I did where I was on about the fires in Canada and had a brain fart and said they was all in Alaska. Of course, now they've all moved to Alaska. So it was a bit of a prediction there, by accident. No, it's the Elsinore fault. I'm expecting it to break on. Of course, it could go on the San Andreas, or it might not happen at all. But I think things are about to get worse. We've got all these earthquakes worldwide, and I've been looking at spaceweather.com. We have a hole in the sun's atmosphere. A hole has opened in the sun's atmosphere and it's spewing a stream of solar wind towards Earth. Estimated time of arrival, 15th or 16th, the next day or two. Which coincides with a partial lunar eclipse on June the 16th. All this extra energy flooding into the planet, added to the gravitational forces of an eclipse, it's just going to increase the earthquakes. Oh, while I'm here, have a look at the near-Earth asteroids. This one whizzed past on the 9th within the moon's orbit, 22 meters in diameter. That would have hit the Earth. On a day later, on the 10th, same distance away, 39 meters. That'd have done some damage. But I just want to point you to this one here. These they're named after when they was discovered. There's one here, 339 meters. That's a whopper. That was discovered in 2006. But this one here, right down at the bottom, 227 meters. Now that would really cause some serious shit if that hit us. Luckily, that's forecast to whiz past at a distance of 20 lunar distances, so it's not coming too close. But this was it was quite big, and that was only discovered this year. So these dangerous asteroids, you don't get much warning with them. One could come out the blue anytime, and you might have a matter of weeks if you're lucky, if it was on collision course, and not a damn thing anybody be able to do about it. Here's some news from this second, which some of you may find funny if you're a sick bastard like me. Stowaway falls off Kenya Airways plane on way to Heathrow and lands in Garden. The body of a suspected stowaway landed in a garden in Clapham in Lambeth, in South London on Sunday. The frozen body of a stowaway fell from a passenger jet and plunged more than 3,000 feet into a small garden, missing a sunbather by just 3 feet, say witnesses. Witnesses? That'd have been a sight to behold. A Kenya Airways flight was on its final approach to Heathrow Airport when the suspected migrant fell from the landing gear compartment as the plane lowered its wheels just before 3:40 p.m. The unidentified man, well, it would have been a surprise if they'd have been able to identify him, landed in a garden in Clapham, South London, with a loud whomp that startled neighbours and narrowly missed landing on a sunbather named locally as John Lucky Bastard Baldock. The stunned tenants called police, who linked the discovery with a 4,250-mile flight from Nairobi to Heathrow. A plane spotter who was following the flight on an app from Clapham Common had seen the body fall, and it is thought the stowaway was already dead before falling to the ground. And that's where he landed. I mean, Sun's been cracking flags in here lately, but not fucking migrants. That's not something you see every day on the weather forecast, is it? Oh, it's going to be cracking flags tomorrow. Yeah. Here's some quotes by witnesses. My husband went to look and saw the body lying in the middle of the lawn. The man had fallen right next to one of the lodgers who was in the garden at the time. I'm just thankful it didn't hit him. He was in shock. Next door neighbour said, I heard a whoomp. I went upstairs to look out of a window. At first, I thought it was a tramp asleep in the garden. He had all of his clothes on and everything. I had a closer look and saw there was blood all over the walls of the garden. Oh my God. Oh well. Apparently it was turned into a block of ice before he hit the ground. Moving on. Well, there's not only the Earth having tremors. Is Frau Merkel having one of her episodes. This was in Berlin. I think she needs to stop meeting all them Arab sheikhs. I do. Having all these. It looks like she's having epileptic fits. That was her having a second episode of the 3 she's had observed so far. That was on the 27th of June. As I said, that was in Berlin. It looks like she's freezing bloody cold. Well, in fact, the temperature that day, it was 32 degrees. So, give her a hot water bottle. She'll soon warm up. Speaking of warming up, here's a recent article from CNN. Indian water train arrives with desperately needed relief for Chennai. Millions of people are running out of water in this city. A train carrying millions of litres of water rolled into the southern Indian city of Chennai for the first time on Friday, providing desperately needed relief to residents who have been facing an acute water shortage for the past month. The city, Tamil Nadu's state capital and one of India's biggest metropolitan areas, has been crippled by the shortage brought on by poor water management, last year's disappointing monsoon and continuous population growth. Well, they've got four reservoirs and they're all bone dry. I think they are getting a little bit of rain now, but nowhere near enough. Very poor monsoon. Dozens of locals gathered at the train station to watch state officials inaugurate the special service which will help to alleviate Chennai's struggle in maintaining a steady water supply. People cheered. As the 50-wagon locomotive, decorated with flower garlands, made its way into the railway yard, where 2.5 million litres of water will start being decanted. Well, doesn't that sound a lot? Apparently, the city needs 525 million litres of water a day. So that is a drop. No significant rains for 180 to 190 days. Last year's monsoon failed. Past several months, city residents have been forced to rely on government and privately run water tankers that sweep through the streets during the day. But the new train service, a regular supplier that aims to bring in 10 million litres of water daily from a dam located 224 miles away. Please excuse that little interruption. That was my little dog, Pudsey, telling whoever was at the door to woof off. 224 miles away in Jolapatai is expected to reduce the pressure on the strained city resources. The arrangement is likely to continue forever till the water situation improves. Planning to continue to supply up to 4 trains a day, so that's 10 million litres a day when they need 525 million litres a day. Can you see the problem here? Chennai's water problem is the latest reminder of India's impending water crisis, and it goes on and on and on and on and on. Here's a good question for you. Are parts of India becoming too hot for humans? Yes. Closely followed by the rest of the planet, in my humble opinion. But all is not lost. India's population of 900 million people need not worry, because their government has plans to solve the situation. These trains are just a little stopgap filler. Chandrayaan-2 and Chennai, how India's lunar mission can help in the city's water crisis. This was updated today. India's mission to the moon in 2008 already discovered the availability of the water over the moon. And now they've got a second mission to further develop on this discovery. Today, 2 major contrasts are visible in India. Owing to acute water shortage, one of the main metropolitans in the country, Chennai, has been forced to get the water from other parts of the country via train. On the other hand, about 100 kilometres away from Chennai, from a rocket launch pad located at Sriharikota, India would be launching its second moon mission tomorrow, which has been designed to identify and study the availability of water on the moon. So they're going to keep these trains going for a bit, and then they're just going to keep going back and forth to the moon to get water. Problem solved. There you go. They're bloody knackered. The poor people. They don't give this water away for free, you know. In fact, the government's transporting the water to them. They don't give it away. In fact, they keep upping the prices. So anybody that's not got any money Oh, I'm sorry, what are they going to do? Oh, it's a fucking mess. Now it's time for Nostradamus Special Atmospheric Report. This is a time lapse of planet Earth breathing. You can see year by year as the seasons change. And what happens is, in the summers, the plants in the northern hemisphere take in the carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. And in the winter, it's released. Of course, in the southern hemisphere, there isn't hardly any land, so we get this cycling of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. And of course, this time of year, it should be going down. However, after a bit of a drop, it seems to be going back up in the middle of summer. Have a look at our. This is the Mauna Loa, the most studied study of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. As you can see, it goes through this annual cycle, and we're on this steep, accelerating upslope because the emissions keep going up and up and up. That's actually, I'm on the Earth System Research Laboratory at NOAA here. You can see this graph's showing it's at its peak this year of 414.66, and now it's on its way down. And I had a look at global recent trend. So this is a global measure, and I just showed you it should be going down now, and it looked like it was. But the last few days, it's actually creeping up, and this is quite worrying. And this is just an indication that the plants are not taking as much in as they should, probably due to more and more forests being ripped down, courtesy of Bolsonaro and his other buddies around the world, and possibly the oceans getting saturated now because they absorb a lot of it, and I think they're choking on it. But this is not good. The Earth is choking. It's having difficulty breathing. Now on to methane concentration in the atmosphere. I've put all the latest data into the Doomatron. I'm having major trouble with my internet tonight. I think they're deliberately making the internet shit. Keep cutting out and slowing, making it slower and slower. Just so to make everybody go over and get 5G when it comes out. It's deliberate. I know it is. They deliberately make it shit, so everybody will go and get 5G. Don't do it, folks. I'll put up with this crap as long as I can. Anyway, back to methane. And the last report I gave was back on the 23rd when I had data from the 22nd, which we was down here. And I was saying like it had risen and then it's plateaued a bit and it was on its way back up again. And now we've got some really significant increases in the last couple of weeks. Gone up 1.6 that week. Now last week there was no data from the METOP 2 satellite. Don't know whether they was recalibrating it or not, so we had to just do an average from the METOP 1 satellite. But we've had a quite a big jump during the past 7 days, and as you can see, it's proper spiking now. The main increases have been at the higher atmospheric levels, although it has been rising also at the lower ones. And you can see how much this is my 3-week average, and we're at 1843.4. But my actual average for this week is 1845.2, which puts us above the graph. So I'll continue to monitor it for as long as I can, as long as the data comes in, and I'll keep you all informed. Well, this is quite a big, quite a large jump. Of course, these greenhouse gases are only going to continue to rise if we keep burning fossil fuels like there's no tomorrow, which there won't be. Especially as these tipping points kick in. I sometimes wonder how the Ferengi survived as a species and became a spacefaring species with their extreme form of capitalism system. Mind boggles. Just going to check on earthquakes, see if anything's happened while I've been recording before I go. I'll just have a quick sip of my lager. That's better. Right, apparently we've not had any major earthquakes for 13 hours since this one in Indonesia. Well, I've just checked on my phone app and we've got buoys going off. I don't think they're from this 13 hours ago, but there's no earthquakes been reported. Let me just show you. Here we are. Live. Now, this one's next to the earthquake that happened yesterday off the northwest coast of Australia. Good day. And that Indonesian one struck round here. Can't be bothered looking exactly. It was 7.3. Some of them went as high as. That was 13 hours ago. So has something gone off here that they're not reporting? It just seems a long time. If these are responded 13 hours ago, well, all these others should be going off as well. Something a bit dubious there. Oh, I almost forgot to mention the Stromboli blast from since my last video. Volcano erupts on Italian island of Stromboli, killing hiker and sending tourists jumping into the sea. So one fellow was killed. Apparently, a rock landed on his head. Deceased was Italian man from Sicily, whose Brazilian companion was found dehydrated and in state of shock. Naval vessel sent to island for possible mass evacuation after 2 powerful blasts. And there is when it escaped, when it erupted, escaped. On thereabouts. Any road. I've been warning about this island for some time since I started doing videos, because this flank is in serious danger of collapsing into the sea, and will set off quite a really bad tsunami which will affect the whole of the Mediterranean. It's not a question of if, it's when. And with all this recent activity, it could be sooner rather than later. Any more decent pics? I'm going to finish up now anyway. I think I've been going on long enough, don't you? Quick check on California. Nothing's happening yet in my forecast area. Still plenty of activity in the original earthquake zone. There's one other thing I wanted to show you. Just hang on a sec. Just wanted to show you this before I finish. You might find it interesting. So here they had the 2 big earthquakes. I've set it up, so we're just going to zoom in from here. When these stop loading. Thank you. Right. You see where the big swarm is. These are all just today. 600 and how many? 942 in the areas today. Just keeps building and building, and we've got all these more earthquakes sending more. Right, this is the area. I don't know whether you watched Dutch since or not. He reported on this. About the fissure that opened up from mound in the ground along here. In that direction, and almost directly on the line. It's a little white speck there. We'll zoom in a bit more. The fissure went north-northwest. A bit nearer. That's about as close as you can get, I think. Oh, there we go. What's that? What's that? So go on Google Earth. And it's the plane, boss! The plane! Welcome to Fantasy Island! Thank you very, very much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed it. For me, the number 23 holds magical properties. And therefore, as we're on Foreign Age News number 17, I have set the Nostradamus's clock to 6 more videos to Armageddon. So that's all I'm going to be doing after tonight. it's 6 more videos, because that's about just how long I think it's going to take until everything collapses, either one way or another. I didn't even mention the possibility of economic collapse in this video. Looks like Deutsche Bank's going bust. Perhaps that's why Angela Merkel keeps shaking in her boots. Who knows? We're getting really close now. And it's going to be horrific. I'm a realist. Even though Barry the Bastard turned out to be a crybaby, there's awful things about to happen. I'm finding it increasingly distressing to even investigate and look up what's going on, what we're doing to the animal kingdom, let alone report on it. Just, I can't do it. We're fucked. And we're taking everything else down with us. And fucking killing me. It'd be great if I could come up with some magical solution, like the Indian government have come up with to solve their water problems. They might not have had these problems with the water if they'd looked after it, but they just exploited it. I'm bloody 50, me. I've looked after myself. I've never had any problems with my waterworks. I think, much like many of the rivers on Earth, the river of life is about to dry up. I'm not in a good place right now. Perhaps I'd be better off being oblivious to what's going on, like most people. But here we are. So I'm going to sign off now. Peace to y'all. Love you all. See you next time. Goodbye.